Uh, what do we have here? Is this a walker?
Uh, Sorry, officer. No need for alarm.
Who is this?
I'm Midoriya, sir.
Izuku Midoriya?
Izuku Midoriya, sir.
Well, I'm Sheriff Rick Grimes, baby. And I'm
Yeah,
and
I see
I'm
that.
and I'm here. The gang's all here. Yeah.
The gang. Oh yeah, your gang. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've seen it in the videos. It's quite entertaining. You do have a little bit of a gang. Uh, so
And we're here to
hey,
talk about
my hair did come
Metroid
out better than I thought.
Dread.
Metroid Dread. Oh God, why did I not? Why I said I was prepared, but why am I not
You
prepared?
never
Why don't
quite
I not have my
prepared.
copy of the game? Hold on, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go grab it.
Sounds like
I
a
have a copy.
copycat. You're being a copycat right
I'm gonna have
now.
to get my game copy. I have to do it.
The fact that he has it all the way out in the basement, that's crazy.
What happened to my game?
Gotta retrieve it.
I had it here somewhere. What the hell? Oh, I'm an idiot. It's right here.
Oh, you got the big one? You really gonna do that to me?
Here, you can edit that in post. Hold on. Thank you,
All
Rusty,
right.
for hooking a brother up. He is the one that
He
that
bought
helped me
that
out
for
with it.
you.
He snagged it for there was like a restock on the
He
all right,
bought
I'm
that
ditching
for
this.
you.
There was a restock on the a restock on Amazon that he apparently caught probably Wario 64 did was like, hey, this is here it is, it's restock, low stock or whatever. So yeah. Thank you, Rusty. It's very, very nice.
Metroid Dread. As we were scheduling out our month of horror, we always liked. Well, we've done it one time before, and
Yes.
last time we tried to include one of each thing. You know, like a movie, a TV show, and a game. At least one of each. And so we were like, yeah, what could be a game? And then Metroid Dread just happens to come out at the perfect time, so it worked out. We were both planning on playing it anyway, so.
My most anticipated game of the year. That's why I was
Yeah.
very excited that Rusty hooked me up with that. So
And honestly, I was wary of how dreadful it would be. You know, I was like, I mean, it'll probably be like
pretty good.
spooky adjacent, but not
Yeah.
actually like full on horror. You know.
Yeah.
But I will say there's a good amount of dread. I feel some dread when I play this.
Yeah.
Game.
I think I would consider this in the world of Pete Dorr. I would consider this horror adjacent. I think there's enough the reason it's called Dread is I would assume, unless there's some other reason that I haven't reached yet in the game, but you are constantly stalked by these like completely invulnerable robots called EMMIs or Emmys.
Yeah.
And they are kind of horrifying. The segments are very, very tense when you have to deal with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So overall, how are we feeling about Metroid Dread? Neither of us have finished it.
No.
I've made like 4 hours into it.
I'm about like two and a half. So I'm not terribly far. I wish I could have put a little bit more time into it. But I think I definitely have enough to sort of give at least a first impressions and at least I think I have enough for a review score. I think so. I'm loving it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I think this is doing everything that I liked about Samus Returns, which is the 3DS remake of Metroid 2, and it's doing everything like perfectly. It's doing it all like it has the the ability to sort of have like 360 degree aiming, which the 3DS version had. But because we have extra buttons and extra controls, it all just feels so perfect and smooth. And it's just great. I just love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I do. And I've never actually played a 2D Metroid of any kind.
Really? Well, welcome
2D.
in.
And as someone who played Metroid Prime for the first time last year, actually playing through it for the Gens Challenge, I mean, you can see a lot of similarities. I mean, that's like, for Metroid, you can see what brings the series together. It's, there's a little bit of exploration. There's the power ups that you get along the way that then you can go back into previous areas and do things you couldn't before. It's like
Yeah.
a lot of similarities even between this and Metroid Prime. For some reason, I feel like the 2D format works a lot more for me too. I feel like I love 2D kind of games in general anyway, but
Yeah.
it works really well.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because there especially when Prime came out, there was a very distinct like I don't know if I would say fragmentation, but there was definitely like camps that the fan base would stand in, where some people would definitely or like yeah, Prime is good. Prime is a fun game, but it's not as good as the other Metroid games because of the it's you know it's more shooty than but it's like, well, you can say that, but like Metroid is still very the 2D games are all very action based in terms of you're shooting stuff to to progress, you know. I think maybe some of it comes in maybe the execution in the Prime series in terms of the exploration. I think it's a I think the first Prime is a masterpiece personally, but I also would say that about Super Metroid. So I think they're both excellent, stellar games. Jury's still out if this is gonna be as good as those. I think it's always too early to say something like that. I think this game is great. I think it totally stands toe to toe with its contemporaries, maybe not contemporaries, but its predecessors. Really, is more what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, mostly good things to say. I don't really have many complaints. The only thing I really have is just for these kinds of games in general, it can be frustrating. What I get hung up on is usually a stupid little thing that I don't notice, and then I get stuck on it for no reason. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
Where do I go?
And then I end up I'll look up one thing. I'm like, oh, okay, I just didn't freaking shoot missiles in this one spot, and I wasn't even looking over there at all. I was just doing a completely different thing. So it's usually like the little things that I get hung up on, and then that gets annoying. But as soon as you get past it, then it's like, okay, you keep on moving, and it's great.
It definitely takes if you are not into the sort of like this sort of I got kind of trained for this by playing like Zelda, where it's like the top down Zeldas where it's like bomb every wall and use a missile. So with Metroid, it's a use a missile on like if you come across like a dead end where it's like, oh, there's a platform underneath there, use a missile because use a missile, or in older games it was use a morph ball bomb because morph ball bombs are they replenish immediately. So, but this game, interestingly enough, I only literally just got the morph ball. I guess semi spoilers, but you don't get the morph ball for a while in this game, and I was actually very pleasantly surprised about that. It's because it is I think you realize as you're playing through the game of how useful of a tool it really is. Because there's times where places where it's like, man, I could really use that right now to get in to search some of these places.
I was really overwhelmed when I got the morph ball, because it's like, oh damn, there's literally like every area I've been to now. Yeah. It's like stuff I could go and get stuff, Yeah. And that's like with every power. I have to commend them for like the level design in this, because that can't be easy. Like how they have to set up like all these things where like from the first area you're running into so many things you haven't seen, and then you'd expect at some point to like not be running into those sorts of things, but it's like as soon as you get a new power up, you're running into stuff that you can't pass already with until you get the next power up. So there's always stuff you're running past. It's like, oh, well, I'm gonna be coming back for that.
The thing that I really like about it, I think it's an excellent sort of game design thing that you come across it more than once. They usually see it at least 2 or 3 times to solidify it in your mind. It's like, okay, maybe it's a little overwhelming to be coming across so many possible areas, but it solidifies this thing in your mind so that you see it frequently enough that you're like, okay, something's coming up soon. Maybe it'll be a little bit from now, but I know that there's some places back in this area that I can go look once I get this power up to explore. And that exploration is like the founding sort of tenet of what makes Metroid, I guess, really exciting, is because exploration is almost always rewarded in some way, whether it's getting you to the next part of the game or you get a power up, or even not just a power up, but like an upgrade to your missiles. So you get like extra missiles or extra health. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, or hey, there's a safe spot over here now, or any other numbers of stuff like that. So yeah, I think this game is doing an excellent job so far in terms of sort of peeling back the layers, just like Metroid's past, where you have to unlock something to progress the world, which then allows you to branch out more pathways, and it's fun.
Yeah, and even as you go to new areas, I thought maybe like you go back to previous areas just to collect stuff, but you actually go back to previous areas just to progress also. So it's like it's not completely linear. Like you go into a new area, you don't just keep moving. It'll have you go back to previous areas for stuff. And so the best way to like gauge actually where your progress is based on like little milestones, like what's the most recent power up that you've obtained, basically. So the most recent thing I got is something called the speed booster.
Oh hell yeah!
So
I love that. Yeah, love the speed
that's
boost.
about where I'm at. Which, just looking at a walkthrough based on these things, it looks like maybe I'm around halfway, but um, it's cool. I mean, I went to a place called Berenia,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have to go back to this place called Dairon, and that's
Yeah.
when you get the speed booster. So like,
I'm currently in Dairon, and I've moved back and forth between Dairon and the previous area. Because I just got the wide beam, and now I just got the morph ball, so that's gonna open up a whole world of possibility in
that's
terms
crazy
of
because like
stuff to do.
the map is so like crucial for this game. I'm
Yeah.
constantly referencing the map, and then you just see how big it gets, and they're just like, oh my goodness.
I love how from the beginning it's so your goal. So the general framework of the story, Samus is answering a distress call on a planet because there was supposed to be a recovery team going to get these EMMIs because they apparently encountered something, and then they couldn't control the EMMIs anymore, so she's supposed to go investigate because they haven't received any word back from them. So you get assaulted as soon as you land down on the planet by what appears to be a Chozo, which is supposed to be that's where Samus got all of her armor, her power suit, and all of her abilities. She was trained by the Chozo when she was younger. And the Chozo basically like completely alters her suit and drains all of the abilities from it. Um, Again, it's sort of the like, oh, you lose all your abilities from the beginning of the game, and you have to get them all back again.
She's always
This one
losing
is
her shit, bro.
I know, man. She can't keep a lady down. But so basically, your goal is just get out. That is straight up what your your computer Adam tells you. He's just like, yeah, okay. So your goal: get to the surface and leave, because it's like this is too much for you. It's too much for anybody because it's like these things are indestructible. So, but you find a mysterious power. It's only temporary because you absorb some energy, but you are able to destroy these things, but only once you have obtained that ability. So
Omega.
it is a mysterious ability because it's like, oh, that's kind of unusual. Like, why does this exist? What is this stuff? So there's definitely some mysterious elements to the story, and I like that. It's cool.
Yeah, it's really. I think the Emmys are really cool. I think they're really effective for that. Sense of dread.
Yeah.
When it kicks in, you're in the little Emmy area, and then you have to be on high alert. And then when they start chasing you down, and there's some great chases.
The music is so creepy during those segments too. It's just a weird, sparse, like electronic. the another thing I really like, the graphical effect when you're in the Emmy zones, is where there's like a bunch of, it kind of gets monochrome to a certain degree. It doesn't, or it's, I guess it desaturates a lot. So like the colors desaturate and it gets very staticky looking.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of noise on the screen. I sucker for that because it really does sort of like, it does make it feel creepier when you're like, oh, I'm in this area where it's like, I gotta be really careful now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like it's cool because once they catch you, it's like you're pretty much toast. But there's a specific timing you have to hit that you can get you break free.
It's got to be something small. It's got to be like just a few frames because I've never been able to do it.
I know
Is it? I wonder if it's a frame perfect.
It took me a while, but I got it,
Yeah.
and it's so satisfying when you hit it because it's like actual panic mode, and it's like that's all based on the sound pretty much for me. It's like
Okay.
when it makes that first sound, it goes like pshing, like you do it the instant after that,
Okay.
and then
Because
it'll do a second sound. If
Yeah.
you miss the first one, there's a
it gives you
second
another
sound,
opportunity. Yeah.
which is even harder to hit. Like I hit that once, but that was like it was really precise. You have to like anticipate the sound and hit it at the same time. And then it's crazy. She does like this little kick and she gets out of it. I had one intense chase where I broke out of it twice, and I'm just running around trying to get out of there.
I'll tell you, every time I'm in one of those, I always like tense up, and then I do like the little brother, or like the old person playing games. I'm like, oh, I like move my whole body like tensing to try to
and then
try to
you'll
hit
see
it.
Samus like,
Because he like tries to kick her and misses.
It just like stabs her. It's like, damn, it's crazy, but it's really cool. It's really
Yeah.
cool. I like the little formula of you defeat with like the core, you destroy the core or whatever it's called, and then it gives you that Omega blaster, and then you can go into where you actually can defeat the Emmy. It's cool.
It's cool because it's like you're running from this thing this whole time, but now you're going and you're hunting it down basically. And it's like that's cool. I like that a lot. So
it's satisfying, and I feel like
yeah.
I definitely wasn't imagining it, but they definitely seem to be getting quicker as you go on. The most recent Emmy that I went after was like going crazy. I got broke free from that thing, and then it just started chasing me like 10 times speed. I was going crazy, and like it was intense. But yeah, I love the way they're working in all the different power ups. It's really cool how you have to think about things. And
yeah, the power ups are they reintroduced. So Eon was a thing that they had in the Samus Returns remake, where it was like these extra abilities that you could use by pressing the D-pad, if memory serves. And they sort of reintroduced that into this game, where it's like sort of they only last for a limited period of time. I don't remember if Eon used up health gauge if the gauge ran out entirely. But that's scary because there have been times where I completely didn't realize that I ran out of the bar because I wasn't paying attention to it, and then I was like, "Oh, I have 5 health left. I need to be careful."
I don't actually use the that one that often. The one where it's like, what's the name?
The cloaking one?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called,
Phantom
but it's
Cloak?
like Phantom Cloak. Yeah, I use that one like all the time.
I actually don't. I like to live life on the edge. I'm
You
like
live on the edge, yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
And then like once I see him like just outside, then I'll use it a little bit. But
The thing that I like about that is, so there was an enemy in Metroid Fusion, which this is the direct sequel to. They reference the X virus in this. There was an X that mimicked Samus, an X parasite that basically looked just like Samus and was as powerful as she was. And that thing stalked you at certain points of the game. It was always very tense. The moments. This is like replicating that, and I think in a more fleshed out concept, because that happened maybe like 4 or 5 times in the whole game in Fusion. And Fusion was relatively short too. It was maybe a 3-4 hour game.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, this to me, it feels like a fleshed out version of that. Stealth segments in Metroid are not something that happens like almost ever. The fact that they've been able to pull it off so well, Like I think it works great. I mean, you say you live life dangerously, but I'm like I'm trying to utilize it as a stealth, like the stealth elements, and it's very enjoyable trying to see like what you can, how you can trick
Mm-hmm.
the AI or try to get past it. So
It's cool how like the utilize all the controls. Like I feel like I'm using every single button.
mm,
Like all these new features come in and they use different buttons in different ways, and it's like it's just really nice how they thought to, you know, to if you want to aim all around, you can hold down the L button and do that, and it's like pretty seamless, you know. And then it's like
mm,
ZL to go into morph ball. You got all these little things. I feel like by the end of it, there's gonna be like so many things though, because I'm already feeling now they had a couple. They had like a second Aeon thing you can do now, and
mm-hmm.
then you also have the speed booster thing. It's like there's a lot they're adding on here. It's a lot to juggle. And then I'm like pressing. I end up pressing the wrong buttons sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm turning into a morph ball trying to like aim around and stuff. I'm like, oh, whoops.
Yeah,
So I
but do
feel
you
like
feel that the controls are very good though? Still, like how do you feel about how it controls?
they are really good. I just feel like there's a
Yeah,
lot. It's almost like
it's
every
just a lot
little
to
thing.
handle.
Yeah. And I feel like there's still a bunch more that I have to come too. So I'm like, I'm interested how
Mm,
you're gonna have to juggle all that stuff even more. But
mm.
I like how they switch out the different missiles and stuff, or the different cannons, arm cannons. That's cool. So you have like the beam one, and then you
Mm.
have the plasma one you have for a little while, and then you switch it out every now and then.
Oh,
It's
okay.
cool.
Yeah. Well, I think the yeah, I like I like when the Metroid when they they've done different experimentations with you kind of know like certain abilities that you know you're going to get. It's like you know you're going to get the morph ball, you know you're going to get the like space jump, and you know you're going to get like certain things at certain periods of time. But one thing that's always really cool is seeing like either wrinkles or new ideas to the formula. So we talked about the Eon abilities. Um, what was there was another one that was like oh just the like grip where you like grip onto the blue
Mm-hmm.
electromagnetic platforms. Like that's really cool. It's like oh a new way to navigate. That's never really happened before.
Spider magnet. Yeah.
Yeah, the spider magnet. So it's cool because the spider ball is one of the things in the Prime Metroid Prime where it's like you get to grip onto the magnetic uh, uh, like sort of tracks and stuff. Spider ball was
Yeah.
used in those games a lot, but this sort of spider magnet is kind of a new idea, and I think it's very cool. But I'm interested to see like the incremental upgrades. So it's or the stacking upgrades, I guess is a better way to put it. So you get different beams. So I just recently got wide beam, which makes your charge shot and your standard shot triple sort of
I
beam
love
rather than
that.
just a single one. It's very
Dude,
cool.
I feel like it's such a small thing, but I feel like it makes this game so much better than if it weren't like just the fact that you can fire as fast as you can hit the button. You know, it's like a
Yeah,
straight up, it's like a shoot 'em up as you're going
yeah.
through, and then when you get the triple, it's like damn,
Just
it
like
just feels
boom, you just
nice.
got. Yeah, it does.
You're
It's
just spamming that thing, and when I just fought like a pretty tough boss too, which was it was tough, but it was a lot of fun, and it
yeah.
was fun just spamming that thing in there as much as you can.
The reason I asked about the control because there was like kind of a notorious review that came out that said like it was like one of the few kind of negative reviews because this game's been getting
For this
reviewed
game.
like amazingly. But one of the negative ones was saying like my hand cramps with the controls, and I was like,
Okay, my hand did cramp. I was playing on the TV
handheld.
for most of the time, where
Yeah.
I have one Joy-Con each, and that's better. But then
Okay.
I was like, I don't want to be crammed up in this room all day, so I'm gonna go outside and just sit on the porch with it. And I could feel my hand like getting messed up from all the different things I was doing there. Like when I got into the boss fight, especially when I'm like
I was like,
going
nah.
hard and doing all these
Okay,
different things. So
so I've been mostly using the Pro controller. So maybe
okay,
maybe the person who reviewed the game was just using Joy Cons like you. So maybe
yeah, I was
that's
using Joy
possible.
Cons.
Yeah, Joy
Uh,
Cons are not always ideal for like
Honestly, I
tense games like
would have
this.
used the Pro controller, but I need to replace the batteries on it, so I didn't feel
Uh,
like it. So
Dang.
I use the Joy Cons, but yeah, I can definitely see that being a problem. But
Mm.
yeah,
I don't think it's that big a factor. There's also been some criticism at how hard the game is, which yeah, I actually I applaud it. Good, I'm glad it's hard. I like it being a challenge.
it's pretty.
Um,
Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Well, so far,
yeah,
I mean, we're halfway through, so it's a reasonable challenge at least. Like the last
yeah.
boss, I don't know the names of any of them, but the last one was really it was fun. Um,
The cutscenes too, when you're like when you're fighting stuff and like after, so like there was like just a really awesome one after like one of the first major bosses where like Samus kind of like walks around it and like waits for it to like move again and then like pulls the arm can up and just murders it. It's just like, yeah, she's great in this game. She's just
yeah,
like she's just like, I've had a bad day. You know, it's like this has not been a good day for me.
there's a lot of nice little details like that that I didn't really anticipate. Like when you slide into like a boss room or something, like it'll show that in the
Mm,
cutscene, or
mm,
like you do a certain if you're going over something, then it'll transition into the cutscene that way, and it'll be like pretty seamless with it. So they do cool stuff like that. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
this is cool. It's not really what I was expecting. I was just expecting, uh, side scrolling the whole time, 2D.
yeah. There's some really yeah. There's honestly some really good camera work in the because you know when you're playing the game, it's all on a flat 2D plane. But like when you interact with objects and stuff, and it sort of the camera like comes in or cuts and like zooms in, and the game looks amazing. It still
And
looks awesome,
and
like, even when it's close up.
when you use the Omega beam, and it shifts the camera
Yeah,
that way
to
too.
over the shoulder.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Oh, it's so cool, so cool. Um,
So yeah, I don't have many complaints. I got a lot of good things to say about this game. I
I
like it. I like it a lot.
another thing is, do you think Adam doesn't seem? Isn't that just is that an entirely digital voice? It sounds like it.
Right, it sounded like something I've heard before for sure.
Yeah, like just it's cool. I like the fact that they maybe it's like they're cheaping out. They didn't make Adam a voice, but it's like to me it I like it a lot. I think it's cool
hmm
that he's just like I am a completely digital voice. I
Yeah.
am doing it's like it's a robot. He's your AI.
hmm
So
and visually, I just think they have some really cool stuff going on too. Like
mm.
there's some cool looking areas. There was some cool like rain effects going on in recent area I went to, and there's like
some
some cool stuff going on there.
some of the rooms you enter where it's like kind of a unique room where there's like such a beautiful background.
Yeah.
There's stuff like that that I've just like, oh, it's so cool when you get to go into a new place and it's like, ooh, get impressed by a background.
And
It's very
that's not
fun.
the kind of stuff I was really expecting from this. Especially
Mm.
when I saw the trailer initially, I was like, yeah, I'm sure that'll be fun, but I wasn't really that excited to play it. It was like, I don't know, I don't feel like it would actually have any sense of dread to it. Didn't feel like it. I was like, yeah, but it did a good job of
This
like being atmospheric, and it over accomplished in things that I didn't expect it to.
mm,
So I'm impressed
cool.
with it.
Yeah. And the music's solid. I already kind of mentioned it a little bit, but yeah, it's good. It's what you'd expect. It's sort of minimalistic and atmospheric, which is what you kind of want from Metroid. So,
hmm
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm interested to see how the end game goes when they add in more and more stuff. Like
Mm,
is it too much at some point? I don't know, but I think it's cool.
yeah.
So far, like it a lot. So yeah, what score would you give Metroid Dread?
Right now, it's holding right. It's real strong at a 9. I think
Mm.
this game is wonderful, and I'm very glad they did not drop the ball. It
The
seems like
morph ball.
they didn't drop the morph ball in this one. They oh I have man I wish I had it. I used to see me in some videos. I actually hold I have like a little like morph ball like squishy thing. Yeah, they've I think I would guess that Sakamoto and the team that worked on Samus Returns worked on this game, um, because it definitely shows it's very clearly like this is the same kind of thing that Samus Returns
Mm.
played how it played. I mean, but they're just nailing it. They're knocking it out of the park. They can make an original game with that idea, with that sort of gameplay loop. So Yeah, I love it. I think it's wonderful.
Oh yeah, I would give it a 9 out of 10. Also,
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with just the movement options in general too, like with all the different buttons and stuff. I
Mm.
just had a feeling because I was doing some pretty wild stuff. I have a feeling in the right hands, people are gonna do some crazy stuff like
Speedruns are gonna be so cool for this game.
like
There's already tech happening. I've seen people do like skips, like boss skips and stuff like that.
yeah.
So there's already stuff happening in that scene. So
I had a feeling because like wow, there's way too
yeah,
many things you can do. It's like you can get crazy with this.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'm excited to play more for sure.
me
So there's a
too.
Tarqaron score 9 out of 10, baby.
Mm.
All right, great stuff.
I love Metroid. It's one of my favorite game series. I think it's great. So
And I don't really have any attachment to Metroid, so
yeah,
it's a testament. It's a
yeah.
testament to it.
It's not just a fan pleaser. It's a people pleaser too.
Mm-hmm.
What video should the fine people go check out after they finish watching us here?
Naturally, they'll have to go watch our Luigi's Mansion 3 review.
Another Switch game. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
That
First
wasn't,
party Nintendo.
that wasn't even during our month of horror. That was just a
No.
spooky game we did.
It came out. It was sort of the extension because it came out like it came out in like the end. I think it straight up came out on Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
if memory serves.
But that was like
So,
the year before
yeah,
we did the month of horror.
it's true. It's true.
But I don't know which one's better, Metroid Dread, Luigi's Mansion 3. I still haven't finished Luigi's Mansion 3. I never went back like. To
Oh
finish
really?
it.
Oh no. Oh, I did. I beat it. It's cute.
really
It's
good.
fun. Yeah.
So far, I don't know. Metroid Dread, it's looking nice.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to our podcast feed, like the video, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and like us on Facebook, Tarqaron, TWO. All right.
All right, officer.
Yeah, hero. You're a hero.
I'm a hero. I am.
My hero.